Welcome to Voices for Impact, the podcast. Started during the COVID-19 pandemic and made in Syracuse, Voices for Impact is full of conversations with thought leaders from around the world that have made significant accomplishments in their lives and have gone through their own challenges, but have made it through those adversities and made positive impacts through their work. I'm your host, Danielle Mensing, and as a fundraiser for a nonprofit, I believe the most valuable tool you can give yourself is making a positive impact on others and your community. Every conversation is going to give you tools and tactics from entrepreneurs, athletes, artists, and change makers that will encourage you to develop a growth mindset and reimagine how you can find your purpose. Now let's get started. This episode of Voices for Impact is sponsored by Empowered Nutrition. Empowered Nutrition is a nutrition coaching business that empowers young women to simplify life by moving away from the all-consuming diet mentality. Through individual and group nutrition coaching, clients find their inner confidence so they can define their own path of health and happiness. Contact registered dietitian and owner Emily Holdorf at emily@empowerednutrition.co, online at www.empowerednutrition.co, or on social media at Emily_the_RD. If you would like to advertise on an episode of Voices for Impact, contact us through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Now back to the episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Voices for Impact. My name is Danielle Mensing, founder of Voices for Impact, and today I am chatting with Lisa Dietz. She is the store owner of Emma and James, formerly known as Emma James Boutique. She is a wife and mom of two and has worked within the fashion industry for over 20 years. When she moved to Central New York about 10 years ago, she knew she wanted to get creative with her career and decided to open a store in 2016. And both her professional and personal life have been continuously growing and changing during the past 5 years, and she's loved every minute of it. So thank you so much for having a conversation with me today, Lisa.
Of course. I'm so excited to be here.
So tell me, what motivated you to open a fashion boutique and why in Skaneateles?
Yeah, well, it's funny, we're kind of just talking about this, but I moved up here about 10 years ago. I'm from Long Island originally. My boyfriend at that time, had gotten a job in Cortland, and I kind of thought, what am I going to do with my life? Because I had a great job with Ralph Lauren, and I thought that I was like on my career path. And I'm the type that's kind of like, all right, I'll just figure it out as I go, which my parents maybe are not the proudest of, but now they are. So I ended up getting a job at H&M and Old Navy and kind of just continuing that retail career path. And I was out for my 30th birthday 5 years later in Skaneateles, and I walked past like a tiny 500 square foot space. And I literally called my husband at the time and was like, I'm going to open a store. And the reason why I did Scan was because I felt like there weren't any stores here that were super affordable. And I'm the type that when you go into a small town, I just want to like spoil myself, but like not too much. And yeah, that's kind of where it started.
Oh my gosh, just walking in Skaneateles on your birthday and you saw the storefront open and ready to be rented out for a boutique, and it was just kind of like almost like the stars aligned for you. And
Yeah.
right.
I could just see it, like looking into that space. I was like, this is it. Like I can do this. I have the background in it, and the size of it is just perfect. I feel like I can't fail with this size. And then he was just really supportive.
Location
Yeah.
also of Skaneateles and people and the foot traffic and all of that.
Yeah. I was right next to the coffee shop, Vermont Green. So I don't know. I was like, someone's going to get their coffee and see me anyway. So here we are.
Perfect. What do you like about fashion in the fashion industry?
I know this is weird, but I've always just loved color. I may not wear a lot of color, but it just always makes sense to me visually. Like I've been in the retail industry forever, and obviously I need to do the manager side of it and the customer service end, but windows and merchandising and just like the overall beauty of it is what has always attracted me to the fashion industry. yeah, so that's really, it's just attractive to me.
So, starting your own business, starting up this boutique, what were some of the steps you had to take in order to go from, oh, I see the space, to opening and getting your name out, setting the space up how you like it? What was the experience like? What some
Yeah.
tips would you give?
So, I mean, I don't know. When I found this space, I was like, let me talk to the realtor. And then I knew I needed a small business loan. So obviously I had to get that. And then finding the brands was probably the most challenging, but most fun piece of it. So I just found like maybe 5 brands that I really liked, and I pulled them in. And my biggest thing was like with setting it up, was obviously sticking to the vision that I had for the store, which is another really fun piece to me because that's part of the visual and the aesthetic of the store. But just when I was setting up the store, the customers were like walking by and the foot traffic and kind of just making that connection, even just through the window and pumping people up. I could tell that they were like peeking, and it just made me feel like I could really do this.
Yeah.
And I would even keep the door open half the time and let them walk in and just like talk to them. So it kind of got them really excited to tell their friends in like a small town setting. So yeah, those are I mean, it's way more in depth than that, but
So many layers to opening up a business,
oh, it's
especially
so
a
many.
fashion boutique.
Yeah.
And what's the story behind the name?
So me and my husband at that point we were married for about a year, a little over a year. So it was about time to start thinking about kids. And we were planning on trying. And if we had a girl, we were going to name her Emma James Dietz.
Okay.
But then I threw a curveball, as I usually do, and opened a store. So I decided to name it Emma James Boutique, and that would become like our first child and baby. And that's where it came from.
Oh my gosh, I love that story.
Yeah.
Now, what are your 2 kids' names?
Leah and Miles.
And Miles. So sweet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a really cool story. So it's your brainchild
Yeah.
that you do a business. So yeah, makes sense.
That's exactly it.
Love it. Now, what advice would you give to somebody who is interested in following the same path that you are? What advice would you give them?
Just don't, it's like so typical and cliche to say this, but don't give up and don't let anybody feel like you can't do something, and use your gut. Like my gut is the number one thing I go by. I'm very business smart and numbers smart. But once I see those numbers and then it comes down to like the gut decision of the right thing to do, I just do it. Like especially like the perfect example is right now how I have the men's store. I've been wanting to do that since for probably like 2 to 3 years. And there wasn't the right location, and it wasn't like, I didn't feel that I was ready. And the second that I feel that I'm ready for something, I just do it. And like, I don't let anybody stop me. And there's a lot of risk to that, but it has to be well thought out at the same time, obviously.
Yeah. So you know
Yeah.
how to balance
Most of that.
the data that you're getting, the numbers versus and what you're
Yeah,
feeling in your gut. Like this is time, things are aligning. It's time to make that
exactly.
type of move. So
Yeah, and just do
advice,
it.
yeah. So the advice is just to go with your gut when you feel something
Yeah,
about your business.
absolutely.
My next question is, what is one challenge you've overcome professionally, and how did you get through that adversity?
So I would like to say most recently, I've gone through a lot and I've learned a lot, obviously, working in my industry and having leaders on top of me and just like learning from others. But currently, it's definitely juggling a family life and a business,
Yeah.
and wanting to really grow your business, but also wanting to have a strong family life. And I think I do a really damn good job of it. Yeah, I mean, I'm still like the mom in the morning that like brings her kids to daycare, and then I rush off to work, and like at 4 o'clock there's like a hard stop, and I go grab the kids, and I try really hard to like not touch my phone or anything, and that's hard. But I'm making dinner and all of that, and then I like start it all over again. So it's definitely overwhelming because there are days where I could work like morning to night.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really big challenge, and I think I've done a really great job of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, kudos to you being superwoman. That is a lot to juggle, family life and a business. What advice do you have for women that are kind of in the same boat with juggling all of that?
Use your resources a lot. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that when you have your first child, you kind of want to take it all on, and that's when you drown. And then when your second kid comes along, you kind of naturally realize that you don't care and you're like, this person needs to help me, whether it's your husband or your friend, or you pay extra for a sitter or whatever it may be. Um, you won't succeed in anything unless you're happy with your own self. So, and it's good for your kids too to see that.
That's true. I mean, that's an amazing role model. You have a little daughter, to see
Yeah.
her mother uh, thriving in her own woman-owned business. I mean, that's such a great role model and experience to see her own mom doing that. So very,
Yeah.
very good points. What skill or characteristic about you do you think has helped you reach your goals and dreams?
Um, so a few come to mind. So obviously determination, which we've talked about, like just do it. Don't let anybody stop you. And then I think the biggest one is I'm really, really good at being professional, but fun at the same time. So I don't think that you should take things too seriously. And I think that using the people under you is very important. So if they make mistakes, they're only human and you need to understand that, and like training them properly. But like we just have a lot of fun here, but the girls also know that I'm like, I mean business.
Yeah, because this is
Yeah.
your livelihood at the end of the day. So you have to, can't be all fun all the time.
Right.
What's some advice for business owners in general of you're so involved within the Skaneateles community.
Mhm.
Um, what's some advice for business owners on getting involved in the community and how that helps their business thrive as well?
Yeah, I think that honestly, just support in general is just so helpful for myself and for them. Like if I'm shopping at another business, then I don't know, or even honestly, it's like social media is the biggest thing right now. So I've been trying to push a lot of local businesses. I like to retag if I've bought from them, and then they do the same, and then we kind of mesh off our followers, and it's just super helpful. It's going to happen a lot more during the holidays. We've kind of all talked about it. It's really nice. We have merchant meetings, and we're like one big family down here. But it only helps you grow when you support each other rather than you're in competition with each other.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Uh, that's a really good mentality. And I'm so glad so many businesses within this village of Skaneateles are thinking in that way of collaboration and working together to thrive, instead of that competitive mentality.
Yeah, it's only going to make us crumble if we compete with each other. Skaneateles is nice. We have a balance of everything here, so everybody does something a little bit different. Um, yeah, so it's nice.
What drives you?
Oh, what drives me? Obviously, hmm. Well, I mean, the employees and my customers drive me the most, to be honest. I love what I do, and that keeps me happy. Obviously, I'm like living my dream right now. But the employees that I have, they just get so they get a lot of ownership in what they're doing, and it feels like their own mini business. And I love that they have that feeling. And then my customers are just so supportive, and especially through COVID, when my business took like this crazy different turn for the better. Um, they're like family also, and friends, and like we reach out to each other, not having to do with my clothing, and like they've supported me through struggling with like kids and work and vice versa. And so I think that's what really drives me, it just keeps me going every day, that like everybody's human and kind of fighting through all this together, and we're pulling each other up.
Where can people go to find out more about Emma and James and maybe shop online?
Oh, I love that. Let's plug it. So um, everybody should definitely head to at Shop Emma James on Instagram. My Instagram is huge. Every Wednesday we do a new arrival drop at 8 a.m. We do a special pre-ordering system. I try on every single piece of clothing. It's really interactive and fun. It gets competitive because things sell out quick. And then you can head to the website at shopejclothing.com. And then you can just like visit us in Skaneateles at our cute little store.
And you definitely want to check it out. It's such a beautiful space. And if you haven't been to Skaneateles before, you definitely just want to go to Skaneateles.
Yes.
In the summer, in the fall, in the winter, any time of year, the village is beautiful and the shops there are amazing, including, of course, yours. So my last question is, how do you define success?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I kind of already tapped into this with as far as like what drives me, but I think what makes me successful is, or what I define success as, is 100% happiness. I think you need to be happy at the end of the day. I know that every job can be really hard sometimes, and you get frustrated, but as long as you walk away happy, then you're really successful. And then for me personally, building relationships. I think that just building relationships with, whether it's a local business owner or someone like yourself or a customer or my employee, I feel successful in life in general. So if I feel successful in life, then I don't know, I'm successful.
I love it. Building relationships and just being overall happy. I
Yeah.
think those are some great tips, and what a great conversation. Thank you so much for giving us some insight into what you do and some wisdom as well. And thank you
So
to
fun.
listeners for watching. Voices for Impact is on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and as well as podcast platforms. So please follow, like, subscribe to stay connected, and I will see you next time on Voices for Impact. Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
This episode of Voices for Impact is sponsored by Empowered Nutrition. Empowered Nutrition is a nutrition coaching business that empowers young women to simplify life by moving away from the all-consuming diet mentality. Through individual and group nutrition coaching, clients find their inner confidence so they can define their own path of health and happiness. Contact registered dietitian and owner Emily Holdorf at emily@empowerednutrition.co, online at www.empowerednutrition.co, or on social media at Emily_the_RD. If you would like to advertise on an episode of Voices for Impact, contact us through Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn.